But I'm here really just to give you the franchisee's point of view and how I got into franchising and what I've been doing since January '05. I actually own 2 UPS stores. One is owned by DMS Shipping, and the other one is owned by another company called Solo Mio LLC. And I can't remember which one of you was talking about the one store that's really, really good and the one store that sucks all the profits. I got that going on. So we're going to focus on the good today, and we're going to talk about that stuff. So when my third child was, before she was born, my third child was born, I decided that I was tired of working 80 hours a week for somebody else, as I think probably some of your faces are reacting positively. You know what I'm talking about. So I took some time off to try and figure out what I wanted to do. When my daughter was born, I took her in the stroller and we walked 2 blocks to the post office that's right near my house to mail her birth announcements. After a hair-raising experience at the post office, where they are not known for their customer service skills or their friendliness, I walked across the street to Starbucks, where I walked in, they greeted me by name, and they knew my drink without me even having to ask for it. What a difference. Then I walked outside and I noticed that the photo store that was right next to the Starbucks had closed from one day to the next, and there was a for lease sign. So I said, this must be, karma, something, I don't know. So what does my neighborhood need? It needs a place where people can get their errands done efficiently, quickly, and with a smile, because you don't get a lot of those at the post office, as you know. So I put my daughter back in the stroller, and we walked straight home and right to my computer. So I started researching what different concepts were available, and I knew that mailboxes, et cetera, had been bought by UPS and was rebranded the UPS stores, because I'd had a mailbox in a store in Georgetown a few years before. So I knew sort of what was involved, what kind of products the stores carried, et cetera. And not only did I research the UPS store, which was the brand that to me sort of jumped out the kind of right out in front because of the name brand behind it, but I also researched the competition. I also mystery shopped, as the industry likes to call it, not just the UPS stores in my neighborhood, but the competitors as well. I also had the idea of going into the store, so I frequented the stores in my neighborhood and sort of got a feeling from them and and tried to figure out how I could do things better. As you heard, franchising has its pros and cons, and I like to think of franchising as a store in a box. You pay a hefty upfront fee, as well as your royalty fees every month, but you get the power of a recognized name behind you. You open this box, and you get a store that's designed and outfitted for you. You get, hopefully, hands-on training, proven systems, and the latest technology to run that business. At the same time, you do give up control. There are rules to follow, and believe me, there are a lot of rules to follow. But for me, the pros outweighed the cons. I was able to finance my store, the one that's open next to the Starbucks 2 blocks from my house, with some personal loans from my family, and my second store is financed strictly through a bank. Again, there's pros and cons to each of those options. You got your mom calling and saying, where's my check this month? Or you got the bank calling saying, where's my check this month? So my advice, as was said earlier, is prepare a business plan. Even if your franchisor doesn't require it, or the bank will require it, but even if you're going to finance this a different way, it's a really good roadmap. It forces you to look at the competitive environment. It forces you to look at the demographics, the psychographics of your consumer, and it just gives you a pretty clear picture of what you need to do to go forward. Even though the franchisors don't necessarily help you select the site or negotiate that lease, they are going to have to approve your site. And they all have this master plan in their head of where they think they need to have a store. And they're going to try and push you to open your store on that corner that you know gets no traffic. So hold your ground. You know that neighborhood probably better than they do. And if you don't, investigate it. Walk into the other stores in that neighborhood. Talk to the owners. Talk to the managers of those stores. They might not disclose financial information. I know I don't when other franchisees come to me to ask me. I don't want to, my success is not somebody else's, so I think everybody kind of has to do that on their own. But they'll share about the parking troubles, or they'll share about, there's a fire station up the street and the street gets blocked with traffic all the time, every time those fire trucks come in and out of the fire station. Things you need to know about the daily patterns in that area. For a store like mine, it's ideal to be next to places that require a 2-trip visit, so a dry cleaners, the video store, things like that. And I really do believe that the best company that does site selection is Starbucks. So if you can get next to one of those guys, you are golden. The thing I love most about being a franchisee is that I really do own my own business, and I can do, for the most part, anything I want there. And to paraphrase, not John, but John said the quote, while I'm in business for myself, I have a network of 4,500 other stores that are standing right there with me. In my store, I get to pick out things like the greeting cards and the wrapping paper that I think are going to sell in my store, and I don't have to carry the products that I don't think my customers are going to want. You have control, some control, in this kind of a business, whereas at a food franchise, you know, if it's McDonald's, you're going to sell the Big Mac and the Whopper, or no, I guess that's Burger King, or the, you know, whatever they sell, and that's what you sell. You can't just kind of try a little something on the side. That's not going to work like that. I think that the main reason my store is successful is because I'm there. There's a statistic that my franchisor likes to float around that says that the most successful stores are owner-operated. And no matter how good your manager is, and no matter how passionate you think they are not nearly as passionate, and they do not have the incentive to make that store a success the way that you do. And I think the best thing I can do is sort of give you a quick list of tips, which really have been said before, but I'm just going to share them with you as my experience. The first is do your homework. Research the franchisor, the competitors, talk to other franchisees, and see if they're willing to share some financial information, true day-to-day operational financial information. You know, I'll tell you how much I pay for my manager or how much I pay for my salary, for my staff, but I'm not going to tell you how much I make at the end of the day. And your franchisor is not, mine at least, doesn't make any guarantees that have anything to do with money whatsoever. Mystery shopping also, as I said before, is a way for you to understand how to better serve your demographic and how you can provide service better than your competition. Make sure you're financially sound. You might not earn an income out of this business for the first 6 to 12 months. Put some money away, be conservative, especially in this economy. Create an LLC or other entity to own your franchise and to sign all your legal documents, which leads to the next one, which is avoid personal guarantees if at all possible. For me, you know, I have 3 things on lease: my copiers and my postage meter. The copier people required a personal guarantee. It's not a big deal. My postage meter didn't. Again, having an LLC or another entity protects you. If you have one store that's successful and the other is not, and you have 2 separate LLCs owning each one, everything is protected because it's the LLC that actually owns the entity. And trust your gut, especially with hiring and firing, but document everything. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Other franchisees are going to be your best resource. If, in my case, I have a franchisee who's a mile away from me, and while we share customers and compete for them, we also share ideas. We buy marketing and advertising together. And if I ever run out of peanuts, I know who to call because he's going to deliver. He'll even deliver them to me. But back up for a second, have a good team in place. As Dawn was saying before, you need a good lawyer, you need a good accountant. It's also good to surround yourself with other business people who have been through this process. Not necessarily other franchisees in your same company, but just people who have been through the process and hopefully have been successful. And last but not least, know when to walk away. Whether the franchisor is trying to push you into a location that you don't think is going to be successful, or you've been in a location for 2 years and you're just not making money, walk away. It's a really difficult decision to make. It's a really personal, gut-wrenching decision to make. As you can tell, I have some experience here. You have to do it. And you know, you got into this business to make money, to be in business for yourself and to make money. So if that's not happening, do what you got to do. And with that, I say good luck and thank you for your time.